One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please here on WoW Radio for the 15th of January 2010. It is 8 PM in the British Isles. It is 3 PM Eastern Standard Time. In other places, it's most likely other times. But because I am a horrible slacker journalist with no credibility or journalistic integrity, I did not go out to research those. However, my confirmed inside sources do tell me that it is, in fact, other times in other countries. As to what those times are, well, I believe they're all next Monday. Every single last one of them. I can confirm that, thanks to my inside sources, but I can't provide you with any evidence. Also, the picture of the clock on the wall somewhere in southern China that clearly stated that it was not, in fact, Monday, has been disproven as a fake. So everyone can rest assured that the time, everywhere in the world, is next Monday. Welcome to Blue Please. What a show I have coming up for you today. The question is, what's going to happen in it? Stuff will happen, things might happen, information might be given, discussion may be had. Possibly controversy may erupt. Possibly. We shall see, It depends what people like. No, it doesn't. What am I talking about? Depends what the hell I want to do for the next hour and a half. That's all it depends upon. If you don't like it, go elsewhere. So, what have we got coming up for the show today? I should be reading your emails and also talking about Putricide. Putricide has been buffed, perhaps? The crying? The whining? The sniveling? Will Blizzard keep a stiff upper lip? We shall see. Also, raid-wide buffs incoming for ICC for those who find it too hard. Why it's a terrible idea, coming up a little bit later on in the show. Also, how do you strike the balance between the desire to, quote, do it properly and the imperative to use all the tools you have at your disposal? An interesting quandary introduced quite recently. How to fix it, how to make that decision, and how to guide your guild in the correct direction. As well as your chance to contribute to the show, the illusion of choice. You can email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. With your ideas for a last topic for the show. If it's good, I'll pick it. If it's not, I will cast it out. Yes. So lots of things have been going on this week, so I've been told. First thing that's been going on is my website's had a few updates. Hasn't officially launched yet. Not going to be launched for another couple of weeks. But there's now a Shoutcast player on there that you can actually listen to the show on. It's pretty neat. Also, a big video mashup page, and we're working on a whole bunch of other stuff with it as well. It's very cool. Got a lot of features. Going to be more. You can also go register your account on there, which is quite nice. It's a site-wide account, so you don't have to muck about with separate accounts for the forums. Just create an account, and if your email address is the same as the one that you've set up for a Gravatar account, your avatar is automatically imported into the site. If you don't have a Gravatar, you might want to go get one, gravatar.com. They're like a universal avatar. Any site that supports it, it plugs the avatar in automatically, which is very nice for identifying who people are. Oh yes, it's good stuff. Also, what else has been going on? There's been a couple of things. So, I heard rumors, well, not so much rumors, but someone told me, in fact, multiple people told me, as a fact, that Scott Johnson was whining on the latest episode of The Instance. Apparently, he has so many people PMing him. Oh, the humanity of it all. Yes, apparently Scott Johnson can't put more people on his ignore list, so he's looking for an add-on to manage the constant PMs. Well, fortunately, I don't need an add-on to ignore Scott Johnson. It's not that hard. For God's sake, if you've got fans, it's an honor. It's an honor to be raised above the 99.9999% of the WoW population and be recognized for something that you personally have achieved. If you don't want that, then don't podcast. Don't put yourself out on the internet. At all. Go live with the penguins. You'll be ignored then. Possibly eaten, but ignored nonetheless. Also, WoW.com got a bit of egg on their face this week. I'm so sad. No, really, I'm so sad that happened. I feel thoroughly bad for mocking them. Really. No. They deserved everything they got. So yes, wow.com, your confirmed sources. We could confirm inside sources that the Friends and Family Alpha is coming out on Monday. No, it isn't. No, it didn't. Wow, how could their inside sources screw this up? Maybe because they don't have any? Possibility? MMO Champion, folks. That's the place to go. And funnily enough, BB came out with a line that was absolutely stellar, and I must agree with him 110% in terms of the responsibility of those of us who have listeners and have viewers that indeed do hang on what we say. And again, it is an honor to have people hang on what you say. It shows a level of respect that is not forthcoming for the majority of the population. And BB said, lately we saw a bunch of rumors about the potential alpha test for Cataclysm starting this week. First of all, the alpha test of the expansion will not start this week, and probably won't start for some time. At this point, I'm not sure if there even will be a Friends and Family alpha test. This phase of testing doesn't seem to be very important, and the amount of players on the server isn't high enough to get things really tested. Now, what he said further down is really, really important. You also have to understand that each time you spread a rumor like that, thousands of accounts are hacked, because scammers use that wonderful opportunity to scam people who do not understand what the Friends and Family Alpha really is. When the alpha beta starts, you will know about it. Blizzard worked hard to improve their communication over the past years, and I won't be surprised if we heard about it through a blue post before it's leaked on a fan site. Simple as that. Damn right, quite frankly. You've got to be responsible when you have a lot of people paying attention to what you say. It doesn't matter if you're an entertainer, a news provider, a blogger, an opinion guy, it doesn't matter. You've got to be honest. You can't just make up lies to bring in traffic to your site. Especially when people actually suffer as a direct result of that. How many accounts, I wonder, got hacked as a result of that stupid rumor? And indeed, the foolish few sites who actually aggregated it and propagated it as fact without checking that their source was just a blog. I mean, come on. Speaking of scams, a warning for all of you that was also put out on MMO Champion. Seriously, why would you read any other site? Seriously, this site's got everything you need. Armory scams, folks. The new Armory's coming out. That means there's a lot more people interested in trying it out. Do not click an Armory link from Google at all, especially if it's in the advertising section. There's a bunch of people who've been signing up for Google ad accounts with fake malware sites. It says, hey, click here for the WoW Armory. It's not actually the WoW Armory. It is a scam. You now have to log into the Armory to access certain features, so for God's sake, only go there directly. It's wowarmory.com or eu.wowarmory.com. That's it. Or click the link from the official World of Warcraft site. For God's sake, don't fall for anything else. Right. Now that we've got that out of the way, it is time for you guys to contribute to the show. Yes! You must get off your asses. Be less lazy. It's time for this. Wait a minute, I'll stop playing. It's time for... oh dear. It's not working. Okay, I suppose I'll have to do it manually. Mail time, mail time, mail time, mail time! Here's the mail, it never fails, it makes you want to wag your tail. Something, 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 rails, mail! Is all my stuff broken? No, that works. Okay, I suppose I can have a show now. Alright, mail time, folks! Let's find mail. We've got lots of mail, many mails. Ugh. This one coming in from Joseph Brewer. He says this. It's entitled, The More Things Change, the More They Say is... There you go, bit of Swahili for you there, always educating you here on Blue Please. The more things change, the more they stay the same. ICC 25, Elf More, need to link gear score /achieve /roll. I'm sure I'm not the only one seeing this spammed in trade now. I was refused an ICC invite because I had not yet done 25-man. Well, an hour later I got a tell from the leader and was told that there was a spot open. I went in and basically blew 4 out of the 5 healers out of the water. Now, what do you think? Eventually it may be link, gear, score, achieve, roll, and credit history. That's from Ivy Ego, the level 80 Wrestler Druid on Storm Rage. Yeah. There's always going to be some way of testing pugs, because you can't trust pugs at all, especially not sorting out raids. I mean, ICC 25 is not hard, but it's not easy either, especially if you're not pushing on towards the second wing, which is significantly harder than anything in the first. It's logical to ask for something. Achievements are pretty safe. It's like, if you have the achievement for 25-man ICC, then you know that this guy's gone through 25-man ICC, and probably wasn't dragged through it either. They probably weren't carried. So you know this guy knows what he's doing. You don't want to take people that don't have the achievement, because that requires you to explain to them, and you don't know how good they are. At least you know if they've beaten the content once, that they're a reasonably safe bet. Not entirely, but reasonably. Better than just taking a chance on anybody. Gear score... the elitist group mod is so much better than gear score that I don't see why you would ever use something as terrible as gear score. Get the elitist group mod, it's really great. Go look for it on Curse. There was an article on MMO Champion about it, explaining exactly what it does. It takes a whole bunch of things into account and is far more accurate. So you might want to look into that. But I don't see the problem with having some kind of barometer as to how capable a pug member is, because you can't trust pugs. And if you don't like it, well, that's what guilds are for. It's not that difficult to form your own guild these days, or indeed join an existing one. Raiding now is so accessible that the requirements for joining a guild are a lot lower. Even the most casual guilds are raiding the top tier content in one form or another. And we're raiding ICC, we only raid twice a week. For about 6-7 hours total. That's not a lot. Casual guilds raid more than that. But we're making progress. Suppose if you want to raid in a guild that raids 5-6 nights a week, then you might have issues. But the thing is, there's a lot of guilds that don't do that anymore, because they don't have to. My guild is one of them. Hey, I just want to spend some time in game. I don't want to gorge on it. It gets boring. Here's one. Hey TB, this is from Lock-On, level 80 Hunter on Earthen Ring US, and he says this. Here's my question. As of now, legendary items have only been available to the 25-man raiders. However, as your guild is an example, there are many bleeding edge raiders who prefer the path of 10-mans. Well, I wouldn't call us bleeding edge. We just like to get things right. However, they don't even get the chance to craft a legendary just because of their raid size. Is this fair? Should Blizzard start considering making 10-man versions of legendaries with some restrictions in mind? For example, the proc could be disabled for the opposite instance. A 25-man legendary won't proc in a 10-man and vice versa. I welcome any thoughts, rant, or rage on the matter. Well, the procking thing is a bit of a problem, because there are a lot of guilds that do both, and I think that's entirely reasonable. And if you're a healer with Valanir or whatever, then you would be kind of annoyed if your hammer suddenly stopped working. Downgrade it maybe, but the problem is that doing 10-mans takes less time and you can do more of them. It's the reason why gear is an equivalent level, because it's more efficient gathering it from 10-mans than it is from 25. As a 10-man raider, I understand that a lot of people might be miffed by that. But I also understand that you can't have people just simply farming legendaries, and you've got to look at how you could possibly balance that. It's quite a tricky process. Now, I would hazard a guess, to be honest, that there may be legendaries in Cataclysm for 10-man raiders. The requirements of getting them will be a lot higher, and they should be. To be quite honest, you're not competing with as many people. And indeed, at the present time, the content is less difficult. But I think they'll put them in, eventually. Do I care? Not really. Legendaries have never been on my radar, to be quite honest. Bearing in mind, of course, there's only really been one caster legendary that I could use. And at the time, there was no possible way I was getting it, because someone else in the 40-man raid already had dibs on the shards. We don't think we even got half of the shards. So they've never been on my radar, they've never been my concern. I can understand why people would be annoyed by the fact that they can't get it just because they've decided to take a different raid path. But at the end of the day, it's only one item. And gear is gear. I don't find gear to be all that important. And I can look at stuff in the 10-man stuff and then look at items in the 25-man raids and say, well, it would be really nice to get this 25-man item. I can't get it. But isn't it awesome? Yeah, but that's not what matters. Gear is irrelevant these days. It's not so much of a status symbol anymore as it once was. It's not the end. It's a means to it. And as long as the gear is tuned to the content I'm doing and allows me to do the content in an efficient and effective manner, then I don't really care, to be honest. I don't have 25-man gear All my gear these days is 10-man equivalency, at least. The vast majority of it now is tier 9 plus 10-man gear. I think I've got a couple of items from Nax, maybe 1 or 2 from Ulduar 25 that are now out-leveled by stuff from TOC and ICC anyway. And I'm fine with that. I'm totally effective. I have no issues whatsoever. So, it's nice to get an item, but I'm not going to obsess over them. And indeed, I don't. I don't say, oh, I hope this drops. I didn't even look at the loot lists. You know what? That's a nice idea. I enjoy not looking at the loot lists. I enjoy not obsessing over purple pixels. I enjoy considering that I'd like to just kill the boss. Yeah? That's the achievement right there. That's the conquest, as it were. Getting the item is just icing on the cake. My name is Tall Biscuit. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. When we come back after the break, Putricide buffed? We shall see. You know what this is. It's a robbery, a hold-up, a stick-up, and also Corpiclani. Enjoy.